In this short video, I'm going to show you how you can interpolate using a lookup table. First of all, let me explain what I have over here. I have known values of probabilities. For example, the first one is 0.89%. What I want to find is the values of the parameter A. Okay. I have a lookup table that tells me for a specific probability what the value of A is. But the problem is, these values of probabilities are only for certain numbers, starting from 0.1 to 99.9%. So if I want to find the value of A for the probability of 0.89, I need to interpolate between these numbers over here. Why? Because 0.89 falls in between 0.1 and 1. So I can tell that the value of A for this specific probability is something in between 0.37 to 0.29. Okay? This can be done manually pretty easily, right? You can linearly interpolate and put the number right over here. In Excel, also there is a way to do this manually, but then you need to repeat that manual process for every single column. And if you have so many numbers, that gets so boring, right? You want to automate this process. So first of all, let me show you what is the time-consuming way of doing it. So the wrong way of doing it, that takes a lot of time, is using a function called forecast. And x, let me actually explain this first. So this is the x that you have, and this is the y that you want to find. These are the known x's, I'm going to write x's, and these are the known y's. Okay, now in Excel, if you use a function forecast, it asks you what is the value of x. The value of x is this one. What are the known y's? The known y's are the known value of a's. These are known y's. And what are the known x's? The known x's are the known probabilities right over here. So if you write this, then you can calculate A for 0.89. And as you can see, the value of A falls in between these two, which means that it's correct. You can repeat this process for all other rows one by one, but you need to manually decide if this number between what two numbers and select your cell. We want this process to be automated by Excel. And the way that I'm going to do that is by using different functions in Excel. Specifically, I'm going to use obviously the forecast function for linear interpolation. Also, I'm going to use the index function, and I'm going to use match function as well. All right, let's summarize what we know and what we want to use right now. So I'm going to start this text box over here so we can write what we want to do. We know that we want to use the forecast function, so I'm going to write it over here. But instead of the values over here, I'm going to write for this one, I'm going to use my known probability, which are these cells, right? Okay, known probabilities will be the first variable. We have them. Then I need to find H3 to H4. H3 to H4 are known y's, right? Known values of A. So these are your known A's, values of A. Okay, I'm going to change the color of this to red to make sure that you can distinguish between these a little bit better. And eventually G3 to G4 are known values of x's, right? So P. There we go. Changing the color to another color. There we go. Okay, so if I can automate the process of finding the red and the green in this bracket, then I can automate the entire process, right? Okay, so the first thing that I want to automate is how to find known values of A. All right, or essentially the red portion. Okay, so let me introduce you to match function in Excel and index function in Excel. So I'm going to add the row number to this, and obviously this is row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What match does is it finds the row number for a specific number that you have. What do I mean by that? Let's write row over here. So I'll write match and then open brackets. It tells you what value do you want to find the row number for. The value that we want to find in here is going to be 0.89, right? This is our probability. And then, comma, it asks you what is the lookup array. The lookup array is the array of probability or list of probabilities. These right over here, right? Okay. Now, comma, it asks you how do you want me to find the different values. 1 means that it will find the row number for the probability that is equal or less than this number, right? So here we have 0.89. What is equal or less than that? 0.1, right? What is the row number for 0.9 is equal to 1, right? Okay, so I'm gonna here write 1 and close brackets. So I expect if I press enter, the row number that I will get over here is going to be equal to 1. Perfect. Okay, so the match function gives me the row number that describes the probability that I have over here. All right, so now I know how to find the row number, right? Let's talk about index now. Index, what it does, again, I'm going to write index function. It asks you what array do you want to find the value from. The array that I want to find the value is going to be probabilities, right? It is essential to go over here and press F4 to make sure that these cells are fixed, right? And then comma. Next tells you that what is the row number. Let's say that we know the row number is 1, so I'm going to write 1, right? And then column number is not mandatory, so I'm not going to input that, and I'm going to close the bracket. So we expect the number of probability or the value of probability for row 1 to be 0.1, right? So if I press enter, the number that I get over here is going to be 0.1. Let's press enter, and you can see 0.1. So this is probability. Now, instead of, remember that I input 1 here manually, right? But if I copy and paste this value of match, copy it, and paste it instead of over here, right? Now, this match value gives me, the result of this would be 1, right? So, again, press F4 on these to make them fixed, and then press enter. This should be still 0.1 because I know that the row number, which is over here, was 1. Okay. So now I automated a way to find the value of known values of P. So this is telling me that 0.89 falls in between 0.1 and I should have another one that says 1, right? So for row 2, again, I am going to copy this and go over here, paste it over here. I know that this value gives me row 1. So what is the row after that? That would be the upper bound of my range. So I'm going to write plus 1. This value, which was equal to 1, plus 1 gives me row 2, right? Let's press enter and see if this gives me row 2. Oh, there we go. Okay, and now again, I'm going to select this one and paste it in this cell over here. And the only thing that I need to do is when I have this match, write plus 1. This gives me the value of probability associated with row 2. So if I have written this equation correctly, the value that I should get is equal to what? Is equal to 1, right? Okay. Perfect. 0.1 and 1. So now we know how to calculate known values of P. So I'm going to go over here, known values of P, change the color to green. This is the green portion. How do I calculate that? So over here, you need to actually give it a range of cells, and the range of cells would be this one, and then to this one, right? In order to tell Excel I want it from here to here, I need to put colon over here, and then I will copy this one and put it right back over here. Perfect. All right, now let's talk about how we can find this known values of A, how we can automate that. So I'm going to add A to show you how this works. I'm going to, this time, instead of copying and pasting and modifying it, I'm going to write it from the beginning so we will get more practice. I'm going to start with index. Okay, it asks me what is the array that you're looking at. I am looking at A's this time, right? And it asks me to find the row number. I know that to find the row number, I need to use match. But before that, I'm going to press F4 on these cell numbers to make them fixed. All right, now talking about row number. Row number coming from the match function. So I'm writing match. It asks you what is the lookup value. The lookup value, the known lookup value are the probabilities that I have. And what are the lookup arrays? These are the probabilities that are given, right? These values. So I am going to press F4 on these as well. And comma. Similarly, we're going to choose 1 because that gives me the lower bound. And then close brackets and close brackets. So when I press enter, if our calculations are correct, I should get the value of 0.37, which corresponds to row 1, right? It corresponds to row 1. Let's press enter. There we go. I got the value of 0.37. Perfect. Now we are going to do this for next row and row number 2. So let's write it together again. Index, and the array that I'm looking at is array of the numbers for variable A. I am going to press F4 on these to fix them. Next, row number coming from the match function. Lookup value is the values of probability. Lookup array is the known probability ranges. Don't forget to press F4 on them to make them fixed. And I'm going to use less than 1. But this time, I need to have a +1 as well. Why do I need to have that? Because this match function gives me row number 1. But I'm right now looking at next row, right? So +1 moves it automatically to the next row. So close brackets and then press enter if I am correct. If the equation is correct, the number that I will be given is 0.29, right? Let's press enter. 0.29. That means that my equation here is correct. Okay, so for known values of A, what I'm going to get is I'm going to copy this index and paste it right over here, and then colon, click on this one, copy this right over here. There we go. Now I can write this equation over here, and Excel automatically calculates all of this for me. Let's see. This equation forecast, I'm gonna paste it right over here. Okay, instead of known P, the cell is A3, right? So A3 is the known P. Known values of A is this value over here. I'm going to copy that and paste it right over here. And known values of P are these values right over here. Okay, now the only thing that I need to do is copy this, go to the cell over here, and remove what I have, equal sign, and paste what I have written. You can see that automatically all the relative and fixed referrals are correct over here. I'm going to press enter. There we go. This is the interpolated value automated. So if it's automated, it means that if I double click on this square over here, it should automatically calculate it for all the other cells as well. So let's double check. For example, let's double check it for this one. I'm going to change the color over here. Okay. So probability is 22.32. 22.32 falls in between these numbers. Probability is between 10 and 50. 22.32 is between these two. So A that I'm going to calculate in this cell over here should be between 0.21 to 0.17, right? So if I want to calculate that manually, I will use forecast. The x value is 22.32. The known y values are these two, and the known x values are these two. So if my calculations, automated calculations, are correct, and they are equal to manual calculations, when I press enter, the number should be 0.20. Let's see. Very close to the number. If I actually decrease the decimal numbers, there we go. I have the value of 0.20, which is the number I got over here. So this is how you interpolate when you have a lookup table using two functions, index and match. Remember, match always gives you the row number, and index takes that row number and finds the value that you're looking for.